Alright, I'm going to demonstrate a Magic the Gathering deck editor that I and some colleagues built during an advanced programming course at Ball State University. The program is written in Java. That was the language that um, they wanted you to use in the class because in the previous courses you had learned kind of like the basics of Java, and this was implementing what you knew and building an actual application for that people might be able to use. So real quickly, I'm going to go over all of the various features that we have in this application, starting with the most fundamental for an application like a deck editor, which is the search feature. So on the top left here, you can see that we have a text box that says enter your search term, um, and this is mainly to find cards that you would want to put in a deck if you were using this deck editor for its intended purpose. So for example, if we wanted to look up a card with the term let's say Chandra. Chandra is a character that's kind of well known in the game. There's a lot of cards that have Chandra. So if we press search, you see all these various different cards with Chandra in their name. So we have Chandra Ablaze, which is a planeswalker, Chandra Nalar, which is another planeswalker, and etc. Another neat thing about the search term, we didn't only want them to be able to search the names of cards, because sometimes you can remember what a card does, but you don't remember what it's called. So, for example, let's say we wanted to type in the phrase deals 3 damage, and we press search. This, when you highlight a card, the text appears over here, and as you can see, the phrase deals 3 damage isn't in the card's name. However, it is in the text right here, where it says aerial volley deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures with flying. This is another card. The -2 ability says a Johnny Vengeance will deal 3 damage, etc. So that was something we really wanted to implement because, as Magic players ourselves, we knew that sometimes you would know what a card does, but you couldn't remember what it was called. It's really difficult to remember all the names of Magic cards, considering there's like 16,000. I forget the exact number, but there's a lot. Yeah, so that is the search term feature up here is mainly what that does. Um, Reset basically will just reset all of the various settings that you have on, which I can show you later. So for example, you see this list here. Um, this is the list that we were. It was all the cards that dealt 3 damage to something. So if we press reset, this is just now the list of all Magic cards in existence, sort of in alphabetical order too. So yeah. So next, I'll move on to this feature. These various colored buttons with the icons on them. If you're familiar with Magic, you'll know what these are. But if you're not familiar, these are the 5 colors that are in the game of Magic, including this colorless button that they added not too long ago. But so we have white, blue, black, red, green, and then the new colorless one that they added. So what this will do is when you highlight a button, so let's say we wanted to choose white, this is now the list of cards that shows up here is all of the cards that have white in their color. So as you can see, like this card called Abzan Charm, this is where you'll find the card's color identity is what we call it, and you can see that white, W stands for white, B stands for black, and G stands for green. And as you can see, that white is one of the colors in here. If you can select multiple of these colors. So let's say we wanted to find cards that are only white and black in their colors. So as you can see, Abzan Charm is still over here because it is white and black. And if we choose Ashen Rider, this card has white and black in it. So now if we wanted to make it so that only cards that are white, black, and red are in here, you'll see that this card called Ankle Shanker is red, white, and black. Brea Ethereum Sculptor is white, blue, black, and red. So this card has white, black, and red in it. You can use this to help, kind of find cards for specific game modes where you can only use cards of certain colors or whatever. And for example, if we wanted to find, let's say we wanted a card with a very specific term in it. So let's say we said artifact, and we have these colors highlighted. If we choose it, this list now only shows the list of cards that have the term artifact somewhere on the card and contain the colors white, black, and red. So Brea is one of them as well. Reaper King is another one. Transguild Courier, etc. So let's go ahead and reset all. Oh, sorry. Another filter that we have real fast is the format filter. So in Magic, there are a bunch of different formats that people can play and that you can build decks for. So we have Standard, which is like the newest sets. It's like the newest few sets. Modern, which is every standard set that has been released after 8th edition, but also includes 8th edition. Legacy is every card that has been released in Magic, but there's a specific ban list to it. Vintage is every card in Magic, but there are only like very select few cards that are banned, and then there are some restricted cards. And then there's EDH, which stands for Elder Dragon Highlander, which is a format that has the same. It has its own ban list, but it's also every card that's ever been released in Magic. And then there are also some additional rules to building an EDH deck as well that I won't go into. But so let's say we also wanted. Okay, so let's reset everything real fast. I'll show you how these format ones work. So let's say I only wanted to see standard cards. So I would highlight standard, I press go, and oh, this hasn't been updated. Okay, at the time that we built this program, these were the cards that were legal in standard. It has been a year since we released this, so the standard, Wizards of the Coast, the people who own Magic, have released new sets, and standard has rotated. So some of these cards are not standard legal anymore. But at the time, these cards were all standard legal. So you can highlight, and these are only standard legal cards also. You won't find like one of the oldest cards in Magic. Let's type in Volcanic Island, right? This card is not standard legal, so you won't find it under the standard thing, the standard filter. But if we went to like Legacy and press go, and we search Volcanic Island, you would find it. So yeah, those are all the functions that deal with searching for cards and filtering out and trying to find the cards that you want using the format and stuff like that. As you might have seen over in this text box here under card information, if I highlight a card, you get all the information for a card. So for example, you get the card's name, which is Abandoned Outpost. You get the card type, which is land. All of this is the text on the card that you can. It tells you what the card does in the game of Magic, and then these three initials down here are the sets that the card has been released in. So for people who know, Magic the Gathering, in and out kind of, they know that ODY stands for Odyssey, which was a set released back in the day. So if we looked at like this one, which is Abbot of Carol Keep, we know that we have the card name. It's mana cost. The previous card that we looked at didn't have a mana cost because it was a land. We also get the card type, which is a creature, and it's also a human monk. And then all of this is the text on the card. If it's a creature card, it'll have a power and a toughness. So we know the stats on this creature is that it has 2 power and 1 toughness. And then these are the 2 sets that it's in. ORI stands for Magic Origins, and then I believe PRE is the pre-release one. Um, so let's get into the actual like deck building itself. So let's say I'm gonna reset everything real fast. I wanted to build a modern deck, right? And I want to build a modern deck. Let's just build a very old modern deck. Let's build like Affinity or something. Start putting Affinity together. So this is one of the cards that's really popular in the deck. So if I search it, we get Arcbound Ravager. And once I've highlighted the card, and you can see the card info up here, you can see that we have two buttons down here, which is Add to Main Board and Remove from Main Board. So if I started to build a deck, I want to add 4 Arcbound Ravagers to my deck. 4 is the maximum number that you can have in Magic the Gathering. In most formats, all of them but EDH. EDH you're only allowed to have 1, but you know. So then let's say we wanted to add Steel Overseer, which is another card that's really popular in that deck. So as you can see, I clicked it, and now I can add this to the main board. Also, if you highlight, you can highlight these ones over here, and you can read what they do. You know, similar to this list over here. So let's say that I was done building this deck for now. You know, I didn't want to finish it at the moment, and you know, I'll come back to it later. So once you have cards in your deck list over here, you can go up to the top left and press File, and you can save your file, right? So I'm just going to save this to my desktop since it's easy for me to find. I'll call this MTG deck, or MTG demo deck, right? And it saves it as a text file. So if I can find that file right here, right? So open this up, you can see that is the 8 cards that we added to our deck. So now if I wanted to go here, and let's say I wanted to start a new deck, and I wanted to start building some other deck, so you know, I was just throwing cards in here, and then I realized that, you know what, I don't want to finish building this deck. Let's go back to the one that I previously saved, and wanted to continue working on that. So you can go to Open File, and if we go to the directory where that deck is saved, this demo deck right here, and I open it up, you can now see that the 8 cards that we listed are now over here, and this is the deck that we were previously saving. And the remove from main board is obviously, it does the exact opposite of the add to main board. So like if I have Steel Overseer highlighted over here and I remove it, we have one less Steel Overseer now. I can do that with Arcbound Ravager, and you can just do this to clear out a whole deck, you know. The only other feature that we have is we have a tooltip thing. So you know, if you highlight over something and you don't move for a while, it'll give you like a hint as to what that specific button or text box does. So it works for all of these the color filters. So you know, if we hover over black, it'll say this lets you see cards that contain the color black. The search feature, the search button does it, and all of that. So that was just a quick little demo of the application that I built when I was taking advanced programming at Ball State University. As I said before, it's written using Java, and I hope you enjoyed it.